We often think wisdom comes from knowing the right answers, from reading books, listening to advice, or learning from others who have been there before. But life doesn't work that way. Life doesn't hand us lessons on a silver platter. Life teaches us by immersing us, by placing us in situations that demand we navigate them, messy, chaotic, and sometimes painful. Today's story is about learning the hard way, about the lessons that only appear after we've lived through them. Spoken by Ralph Waldo Emerson, life is a succession of lessons which must be lived to be understood. This quote reminds us that understanding comes through experience, not before it, as Aiden always believed wisdom came from books, lectures, and people who had lived long enough to gather their own answers. He admired those who spoke with confidence, those who seemed to know exactly why things happened and what they meant. He thought the world worked like a classroom: learn the lesson first, then pass the test. But life had other plans. When Aiden lost a job he thought he'd never leave, when a friendship he relied on slowly drifted away, when he made decisions he later regretted, he realized something no one had ever told him. Life doesn't teach you the lesson before the test. It teaches you through the test. At first, he resisted. He blamed circumstances, timing, even fate. He felt life was unfair, throwing challenges without explanations. But over time he started noticing patterns. The heartbreak taught him how to appreciate honesty. The failure taught him how to begin again. The disappointment taught him how to set boundaries. The uncertainty taught him how to trust himself. And suddenly, all the experiences he had once seen as punishments revealed themselves as teachers in disguise. One evening, while journaling, Aiden wrote something he had never realized before. I didn't understand the lesson until I lived it. He learned that wisdom doesn't arrive wrapped in clarity. It arrives tangled, chaotic, and often painful. But once you've lived through the moment, once you've survived the storm, once you've touched the fire and learned not to return, the meaning becomes undeniable. Life teaches you by immersing you, not by warning you. And Aiden, for the first time, stopped resisting the journey. He started paying attention. He started listening. And he understood that every experience, good or painful, was shaping him into someone wiser than before. Now hearing this, it is a reminder that life is not something we simply observe. It is something we live, fully and imperfectly, through every challenge, every obstacle, and every moment of despair. Life doesn't hand us a map or guarantee an easy path. It doesn't promise that the road will be fair, or that the moments of joy will outweigh the pain. And I'll be honest with you, I know this firsthand. Life has been anything but easy. As I reflect on my own story and as I hear the stories of people around me, I realize we all carry burdens. Sometimes I feel like my journey is heavier than others, and yet I have no way of knowing whose path is truly harder. Even so, living is about choosing to continue despite the difficulty. It's about showing up for yourself, for your story, for the life you've been given, even when it feels overwhelming, unfair, or lonely. And along the way, there are these small, fleeting moments that remind us why we keep going. Moments of laughter, moments of peace, moments when the sun breaks through the clouds, literally or metaphorically, moments of love or gratitude or quiet accomplishment that shine like little lanterns guiding us forward. Aiden's story reminds us that understanding only comes through participation, through experience, through living. You can't understand the lesson before it happens. You can't see the meaning before the storm passes. But if you endure, if you keep moving, you start noticing the patterns. You start seeing the little gifts tucked inside each challenge. And yes, I'm first to admit that life can feel heavier for some than others. Maybe my challenges are harder than yours. Maybe yours are harder than mine. But the truth is, hardship doesn't diminish the value of our journey. Every struggle, every heartbreak, every failure, every lonely night of reflection, all of it is shaping us into someone capable of understanding, resilience, and empathy. Even if I am the only one who reads the story of my lifetime at the end, I still want to see it through. I want to experience the full arc, the full spectrum, the entire journey. Because life isn't just about reaching the destination. It's about living through the journey, finding meaning in the struggles, and embracing the fleeting moments of joy that remind us why we keep going. The lesson here is this: no matter how heavy the days feel, no matter how unclear the path ahead is, no matter how many obstacles arise, living itself is the lesson. Choosing to continue, to feel, to struggle, to love, to laugh, to breathe, That is what turns existence into a story worth telling. So as you reflect on your own life, on the challenges, disappointments, and despair you faced, also notice the small joys that keep appearing. Notice the moments of peace, the glimpses of light, the tiny victories that are easy to overlook, because those are the things that carry us. They are the reminders that even in a life that is messy, complicated, and often unfair, there is still beauty, still meaning, still a story worth living. Live through it all. Learn through it all. And when you look back, you'll see that every moment, painful or joyful, was teaching you how to understand yourself, your story, and the world around you. If Aiden's story and this reflection resonated with you, don't let the lesson pass unnoticed. Life is unfolding whether we pay attention or not, and every moment, painful, joyful, confusing, or peaceful, is shaping your story. Take a breath, reflect, and take one small step today toward living intentionally, even if it's just noticing the moments of light in your day, reaching out to someone who matters, or starting something you've been putting off. This channel exists because I've needed a space to pause, reflect, and find light when life feels heavy. I hope it can do the same for you. Help you see the value in your journey, even when the path is difficult. Subscribe and stay connected for more stories, reflections, and truths that help us navigate life's challenges together. Because living fully, experiencing, learning, and embracing the journey is the lesson, and it's one we all deserve to see through. Your story is unfolding. Don't wait to live it.